Hi folks, this is Wemette coming to you with another one of Red's bedtime stories. This one takes place, they were having the chop shop wars, and there was this young man that just got out of prison. He did, excuse me, he served 2.5 years in the state penitentiary. He was originally charged with murder, but was knocked down to manslaughter, and he was out in 2.5 years. But anyway, he ran across some very savory characters, obviously, in prison. But one of the individuals he used to talk to me about, his name was Don, and he used to work for me. But anyway, Don told me, he said, I knew this really cool guy when I was in prison. He was really connected. And I said, if he was so cool, what was he doing in prison? And he said, well, he was like really, he's heavy. He said he used to ride around in the back seat or ride around with a corpse in the back seat of the car that somebody killed and stuff like that. And I said, really? I said, who is this guy? What's his name? And he said, Billy Dauber. And I'd just been to a meeting over by Grand Cozzo's place. We called it the Spot. And there were a lot of people there. And I'd heard that he was on the hit parade. And I just told him, I kind of laughed and chuckled, and I said, you think that guy is cool? He's going to be dead in 30 days, I guarantee it. And so a couple days later, he came over by me, and he said, it was Sunday, I believe, Sunday afternoon, and he said to me, he had a newspaper in his hand, he said, did you see what happened? And I said, no. And he said, they shot him down, they killed him. How did you know? And I said, I just kind of knew. And he looked at me different from that point on. And at one time, I took him by the place I was telling you about, the Spot where we all used to meet, over by Grand and Ogden, Grand Racine, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, while we were there, a lot of people were shaking hands and, talking about different odds and ends, but not really about business. But JL came up to me. Joey said, how you doing? I said, okay. We shook hands. We were talking for a minute. And he went over by my car, Don did, and he was waiting over by my car, and he looked kind of shy or something like that, backward. And so he said, who's that with you? And he said, he's okay. He's an employee of mine. And so I said, Don, I want you to meet Joey. And he came over and he shook hands with him. But that's all he would do. We got back in the car. I said goodbye to everybody. Got back in the car. And as we were driving away, he said, don't ever introduce me to any of those kind of people again. He was scared to death. I mean, absolutely scared to death. But what had happened was they had thought, I heard about it, I heard it was going to happen. And they had thought that it was going to be the Grand and Ogden crew that was going to take care of it. For a long time, the FBI was asking me to kind of feel out different people because they had an idea that it was somebody from the Grand and Ogden crew that did it. Later on, obviously, we know that it was part of the Alderisio crew that did it. But Billy Dauber was supposed to be under federal protection. The FBI was supposed to be watching him, tailing him, doing whatever they were supposed to be doing because he was an informant. So when he got shot down on Manhattan-Monee Road after leaving the Markham Courthouse, it was like no big surprise to me. I knew it was coming. He wasn't a very good person from what I heard, even from the convict that I talked to, Don. He was not a very good person. He killed people, he hurt people, he did a lot of bad things to people. And as a result, he cut himself a deal with the government, and I don't know how it got out, but they found out, and they murdered him. But anyway, that's, here it is, the October 27th, and that's my bedtime story for tonight. If you've never seen a bedtime story from me before or whatever, I wrote a book. It's called Nobody Cares and What I Did About It. And you can order it at redwemette.com, and I will send you an autographed edition. Or if you don't want an autographed edition or anything, you can go on Amazon.com, and there's 3 books up there. If you type in Nobody Cares and What I Did About It, and one of them says out of print, that's because it was my old publisher, and then there's one that's in print. And then there's one that's on there for $500 some odd that somebody bought, you know, and they just tried to sell it. But anyway, that's my bedtime story for this evening. And thank all you people out there for buying my book. I love telling you the stories. And tell me more about what you want to hear. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, and God bless you.